Have you ever held a camera and thought, this is it, this is the one that will take my vision further than I've ever imagined? But then, a year later, something new comes along, and that feeling fades. Welcome to the camera industry, where obsession meets innovation, and where loyalty is tested every 12 months. But 2025? It's not just another year, because this year, Sony is getting ready to drop a camera that could shake the very foundation of hybrid shooting. And whether you're a photographer, filmmaker, or just a gear junkie, what's coming next might just change everything. So let me take you on a journey. It starts, as it often does, with a rumor, not just a whisper in a forum, not just a vague mention in a YouTube comment. This one felt different. This one grew legs. It had specs, serial numbers, manufacturing leaks, developers who'd worked with pre-release firmware, and slowly, piece by piece, the puzzle started coming together. They're calling it the Sony A7V, or, depending on who you ask, the A7V. Doesn't matter what you call it. It's the same beast. And as of now, it's easily one of the most controversial cameras we've seen in years. Not because it's bad, but because it might be too good, too ambitious, too advanced, and for some people, too expensive. Let's stop here. Remember the A7 III? Back in 2018. That thing hit like a lightning bolt. Sony wasn't just competing with Canon and Nikon. They were redefining what value meant in the full-frame mirrorless world. That camera was a unicorn. 24 megapixels, phenomenal autofocus, good color, excellent battery life, dual card slots, and at a price point that made other companies sweat. People bought it in droves. I did. You probably did too. And if you didn't, you knew someone who did. Then came the A7 IV. Sony flexed a little more, bumped the resolution to 33MP, improved the EVF, added 10-bit video, new menus, S-Cinetone, and of course, better AF. It was great. But that price hike? Yeah, it stung. The A7 IV felt like the moment Sony stopped trying to win hearts and started asking for wallets. Still, most of us paid up. Why? Because Sony had built trust. And once a company does that, they don't have to beg anymore. Now it's 2025, and here we are again. But this time, the stakes are higher. The Sony A7V is shaping up to be the most divisive, most powerful, most forward-thinking camera the A7 line has ever seen. The question isn't whether it's good. The question is whether it's too good for its own good. Let's talk price. Leaks are pointing to a starting price around $2,800 for the body. And if that sounds painful, just wait until it hits Europe, Australia, or Southeast Asia. Add VAT, add import tax, and suddenly you're staring at a $3,500 camera before you even buy a lens. That's not just a creative tool. That's a business decision. Which raises a question. Is Sony pricing this high because they can, or because the A7V actually earns it? Let me tell you what I've learned. What's inside this camera is ridiculous. Two major rumors have dominated the conversation, and they're both wild. One suggests a 44 megapixel sensor, likely built for maximum detail. That means incredible resolution for portraits, commercial photography, landscapes, and giant print work. Want to crop 50% and still deliver a 20MP image? You can. Want to push shadows, stack exposures, or shoot raw for billboard campaigns? The sensors got you. But there's a catch. High-res sensors usually mean slow readout. And slow readout means rolling shutter. And rolling shutter, for video shooters, is a 4-letter word. That's where the second rumor comes in, a 33 megapixel stack CMOS sensor. Same resolution as the A7 IV, but with architecture borrowed from Sony's flagship A1. Stack sensor's red light, so fast it's like freezing time. No jello, no warping, no weird motion artifacts when panning or filming fast action. And that could mean up to 30 frames per second burst shooting, even on an A7 model. You see what's happening here? Sony's not choosing between speed and resolution. They're trying to give you both. And then there's the brain behind it all, the Bion's XR processor. We've seen it in the A1. We've seen it in the FX3. It's fast, it's stable, and it's built for AI-powered workflows. Which brings us to the next level of insanity, The autofocus Sony's already leading the world in AF, but what they're about to do with the A7V is borderline science fiction. Real-time subject recognition is evolving into real-time subject prediction. We're not just talking about tracking eyes, faces, or animals. We're talking about understanding behavior. Picture this. You're photographing a sprinter on the starting blocks. Before they even take off, the A7V has already locked focus where they're about to be, not where they are, where they're going. Or imagine a falcon mid-flight, diving unpredictably, and your focus doesn't flinch. That's not tracking. That's anticipation. That kind of autofocus changes not just how we shoot, but what's possible to shoot. You don't have to pre-focus. You don't have to hedge your bets. The camera becomes your partner, not just a tool, but a co-creator. Now let's shift gears. Video. Sony knows that every serious hybrid shooter wants a camera that doesn't compromise. And the A7V, if the leaks are true, is leaning into that promise. Think 4K 60p in full frame, 10-bit 4:2:2 internal recording, 16-bit RAW HDMI out, and S-Cinetone and S-Log 3 profiles all included. Oversampled 6K video from a full sensor readout? Possibly. IBIS that works with your gimbal rather than fighting it? Likely. And full-time cooling system? Hopefully. Will we get full-frame 4K at 120 frames per second? Honestly, probably not. That'll stay in the A1 or future flagship. But if Sony gives us 4K/60 with no crop, no overheating, and pro-level color science, that's more than enough to make indie filmmakers, wedding shooters, and YouTubers foam at the mouth. But let me tell you a true story. A content creator I know, Alex, he shoots weddings, brand content, and documentaries. He told me last year, if the next Sony camera doesn't give me better video and stills, I'm switching systems. Harsh? Maybe. But I get it. He's tired of compromise. Tired of needing two cameras. One for photos, one for cinematic work. Tired of firmware limitations, overheating, and battery juggling. And when I told him what I'd heard about the A7V, he got quiet. And then he said, if that's real, that's the one. That's the vibe. Sony's not just trying to upgrade specs. They're trying to build the last camera you'll need for the next 5 years. So what does this all mean? It means we're standing at the edge of a new phase in camera technology. A phase where AI, speed, and image science are merging in ways we've never seen before. Where one body can shoot 44MP stills and 10-bit 4K video with autofocus that feels like it reads your mind. And sure, $2,800 is a lot. But maybe that's what happens when a camera stops being a tool and starts being a platform. One that grows with firmware updates, adapts to your workflow, and becomes smarter the more you use it. Sony is drawing a line in the sand. They're saying this is where hybrid cameras go next. This is not about chasing Canon. It's not about outpacing Nikon. It's about changing the conversation entirely. You might love it. You might hate it, but you will pay attention. Because when this thing drops, everyone's going to have an opinion, but only a few will have the camera. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.